named Darrin in stick combat. My interest, most of my life has been the long stick. Uh, a stick or a club, sort of a weapon, approximately 36 inches in length. So my system was big stick combat. The idea is that you're holding a weapon, preferably a baseball bat, when I go bat with, so the circumstance such as this. But then I came across a book of Bonifant. Bonifant's method is he uses a cane, only his is a knob hand, and he's typically using a reverse grip. And so I thought for a long time, how do I reconcile, how do I merge, how do I synthesize these two systems? And it occurred to me that in art of the stick, that there are two phases, and they're two separate phases. They may overlap, but one is combat. So combat is, if, for instance, if someone were to, hypothetically, someone challenges me and says, Darrin, I think big stick combat for the crap. I'm going to come down here to Cebu City, to Plaza Independencia, and I'm going to challenge you. Well, now we have conditions of combat. I know there's going to be a fight. My weapon, I'm not going to be carrying a cane, I'm going to get a baseball bat. So we have conditions of combat, a battle, right? A mutual combat. I know you when you show up, right? I see you at a distance, you see me, we identify each other, we know that we're enemies, we know that it's going down. Under those conditions, I'm going to have a weapon, I'm going to have a two-handed grip, and I'm going to engage. My strategy is going to be to engage at a distance. But then there's another phase. The other phase I'm going to call self-defense. Last night I was on the streets of downtown Cebu, which was kind of dodgy. So I took my cane with me. So in self-defense, you often can carry the weapon. Like you may practice with a samurai sword, but you can't carry that on the street. You may practice with the baseball bat, but I can't really walk down the streets here at night carrying a baseball bat. I can carry a cane. And then here's the other thing. In combat, we know each other. We identify each other. We know there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a conflict. Self-defense, I may not know that there's a fight until I get hit. I could get jumped. So typically, in combat, I engage at a long distance. I know you, I know there's a fight. In self-defense, I may get jumped. You may grab me on my space, and I realize I've got a problem, and I have to defend myself. And again, now, and I may not have time, there's no time for a fighting stance or to getting into so I may have to typically, in self-defense, I am going to have to strike from a position. If I'm leaning on the cane, I'm going to bring up the cane suddenly. If I'm holding the cane here, I'm going to snap out into, say, this sort of a strike. Maybe a butt end or a hit like Bonifant did. That's why Bonifant was often hitting with this. Because the opponent is in close and he hasn't had time to get in any kind of fighting stance or preparation. So we need to think of those two different phases, the two aspects, I think, of the stick art. One is combat, where you know you're going to go into one last example, a quick one. Suppose some kids are hanging out on your front lawn and they're sitting on your car. So you're going to confront them. We have conditions of combat, right? You grab your bat, you're going to grab a weapon. You know who they are. You know that it's about to go down or may go down, and you're able to engage them at long distance. So that's combat. That's one phase. Other phase, self-defense, might be you go to take the trash out one night and someone jumps out and pushes at you. So those two, if you think about it, and as I think as we find we have different weapons, different stances, different techniques, different strategies. And I think a well-rounded martial artist is prepared for both combat and self-defense.